Bishop Lawrence, it's lovely to be with you today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I am from South India. I'm born in Andhra Pradesh, Nandyal, but I did my early education in Karnataka. We migrated, and after my school and college education, I went into theology, trained for priesthood. I was ordained as a priest in the Church of South India in 1971. I've been a priest since then. For 20 years I served as a priest in the diocese, and in 1990 I went as a missionary of the Church of South India to the United Church in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. There my responsibility was training theological leadership for both men and women, both lay and for ordained ministry, and that was a very interesting assignment. From there I moved to Cayman Islands from 2000 to 2006. In 2006 I was called to be a bishop of Nandyal.
You were recalled?
Recalled, yes, and in Nandyal I have been there for the last 3 years as Bishop of Nandyal.
And what changes have you seen in those 3 years in your diocese?
Yeah, when I took over the diocese, it was almost a bankrupt diocese with a lot of liabilities, financial liabilities as well as institutional liabilities. But by the grace of God, purely as a faith journey, God has provided, and we are today in a better position than what we are. We have been able to do a lot of evangelistic work. We have 50 evangelists, and a major concern that we had was the schools, where the government's policy, mainly because of the World Bank and IMF tie-up with the government, they have for structural adjustments, they said no more support for Christian institutions. There could be private institutions or government schools, no in between like the Christian institutions, aid to the Christian institutions. Because of that, all aid was withdrawn, and now we are really, if we have to keep the schools going, we have to raise enough support for keeping the teachers, and that's a big challenge for us. And therefore we are struggling with that so that we can keep the schools. We believe that Christian schools are important in terms of evangelism, because children, we have the freedom to teach Christian faith and Christian values to the children. So we want to keep the schools, but we have to really, that's a big challenge, how to keep it without the government aid.
What do you attribute the change that took place in your diocese from where it was 3 years ago to where it is today?
I would say number one is prayer. I asked all the people to pray for the diocese, and they had prayer units even before I went there, and they all told me, we have been praying for you, not knowing who I am, but still for a leadership. And I'm very grateful to them for the prayers, and we continue to have ongoing prayers. We have the all-night prayers, fasting prayers. Prayer groups are very, very important aspect of our success. Secondly, it is a faith journey, and when I was coming to Nandyal, people in Cayman, my friend, said, you must be crazy to go back to Indian village ministry, because as you know, Cayman is a very different kind of a society. And then when I came to Nandyal, I found it is a big leap in faith I took. And from that time onwards, it is a faith journey. Every single thing that we have taken, we started without money. But God has provided so far. And I know that God will continue to provide whatever we do in the future. And it's a faith journey. And it is a faith and prayers. Those are the two things which I would give success, the reason for our success so far.
But you've put an emphasis into training evangelists and into the schools, you've just said.
Those
as
are
well.
the two things, and we also want to revive the healing ministry. The missionaries have done preaching, teaching, healing. Through preaching, they have established churches, for teaching schools, and the healing hospitals. But as we know, the schools and the hospitals have changed the whole character now, because schools have become very commercialized. It has almost become a business in India to have professionally run schools with high fees, and people are going for English education. And our diocesan schools are Telugu schools, and they are the only schools where the Dalits and the rural people would go. If we don't run those schools, there won't be any place for them to go, because they cannot afford to pay in the big money in the big schools. So that's the same situation for hospital, where a number of professional hospitals have come around with big fee, and our hospital is going down. So we have to see the ways in which we can still be a healing presence in the community, because again, our hospital is the only hospital where the Dalit poor rural people would come, but we are not able to raise enough money to support that kind of a ministry. However, we still believe that there would be a way out, and we are looking for, it's a part of the faith journey, and we are looking forward to continue that healing ministry also. So I would say the last 3 years has been no regrets, and in fact it has been very exciting, very fulfilling, and God has been faithful.
And what about the future then? What challenges do you face?
The challenges that we face really is how do we sustain this ongoing ministry in terms of evangelism, in terms of schools and teachers. So right now, as I said, it's a faith journey, but it has to have certain sustainability. So I'm thinking in terms of, for example, we are launching two major projects called community halls. Through the community hall in two of our town places, we would be able to generate income because we can give this for weddings and functions and have rents, and then with the income that would come, we should be able to support evangelism, teachers, as well as other outreach programs. But the challenge is to get investment for these two halls. Again, that is a major challenge that we are having, and we are hoping that God will provide, and we have faith. That's a major thing in order to have a sustainable, ongoing program, because we need some guaranteed input to continue some of the things. But at the same time, we even though we have right now, in the last 3 years, we would have constructed and dedicated nearly 40 churches in rural places, and we have about 35 on hand where the work is going on, and we hope that in the next 2 years we have to find enough resources to complete those rural church buildings also.
Many of your parishioners are Dalits?
In fact, the whole of our diocese is a Dalit diocese, because the two missions that came there, one is a Baptist mission and the other is the Anglican mission. It is the SPG, Society for the Propagation of the Gospel. Now it is called USPG. And these two missions have taken two sections of the Dalits. Among the Dalits there are subcastes, and ours is one major subcaste, which is called Mala, and the other subcaste is called Madhya. So we have about, as I said, in 5 political districts, that is in Andhra Pradesh, we have about 400 churches, and we have about 300,000 believers.
300,000?
300,000.
In 400 churches?
In 400 churches. And we have about 80 pastors and 20 candidates studying for ministry. So we will soon have 100 pastors 50 evangelists and at least 50 volunteer teachers to sustain our educational program. And we're also looking for some support and help to revive the healing ministry by bringing back our hospital, which has all the infrastructure, but it's just that we need some committed doctors to take it forward. We are looking forward to that revival of the hospital and the healing ministry.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.